Toledo is the crown jewel of the western end of Lake Erie. That's how I like to describe it to my friends. It's a community that was founded in the Industrial Revolution and the Industrial Age through steel, through iron, through manufacturing, and then automotive. We are a major crossroads, a major port.
This community, founded on hard work and perseverance, is finding a way to deal with a problem that doesn't seem to go away.
We're starting to see a resurgence of crack cocaine and a resurgence of the popularity of powdered cocaine. Follow the money. You know, the sale of drugs is an urban issue. The use of drugs is not an urban issue. The use of drugs is really much it's a community-wide issue. You know, where there's people, there's going to be, where there's drugs and where there's people, there's going to be people using drugs.
Like most cities, Toledo has areas in need of repair, where businesses have closed their doors, homes are abandoned, and there seems to be little hope.
We just see a lot of arrests come through, and the vast majority are crack cocaine. You know, a lot of your crime is related to drugs. People, they go out and they commit the burglaries, they commit the robberies to satisfy their drug need.
It takes more than guidance from the top of the police department or a leader of a coalition to make a difference.
We recognize from 20,000 feet there's things we can do. But you got to be at sea level many times to get the boat out of the water. But we can see the boat going towards the shore, going to hit the shore. But we can't come down from 20,000 feet to help pull it out of the water. So you need those committed people on the ground to help make that happen.
One of those people committed to making a difference is Rick Marvin, a recovering addict on a mission.
The very first time I did cocaine, it was a love affair. Just the feeling, the euphoric feeling.
Chasing that feeling turned into a $1,000 a week habit. Along the line, Rick met Amy, and together they had 2 children, Rusty and Haley.
I gave my family just what they needed, just enough, and all the rest I used. And I gave my kids everything they could want, but I didn't give them me. And there was times when I would quit and go back and quit, but I could never, nothing really mattered to me to make me quit for any length of time.
Something finally caused Rick to hit his bottom, and hard.
My son ended up doing cocaine and ended up dying from cocaine overdose, from my disease. I found him back here in my garage on the morning of July 7th of '05. I found him laying in the garage. He had his sweats on, and he was barefoot. And you know, I went up to him and I was kicking his feet. And I'm like, "Russ, get up," because I thought he was drunk. With him dying, it changed me. You know, I heard, when I was holding his body and I closed his eyes, you know, I could hear God talk to me. It was like, "What are you gonna do now? I just took your kid. I just took your only son. What are you gonna do?"
Rusty was one of the good kids, attending a prestigious private school, excelling in both athletics and academics, and being one of the more popular kids in class.
He could float in any group. It was his personality. It was the type of person he was. In high school especially. Rusty and I were very close, always had been. He and I talked a lot about everything, and we talked, I don't say we were friends, you know, the friends thing that parents do. It wasn't that, it's just he was very easygoing.
Amy knew her only son was struggling with drugs. He had been in and out of treatment and confided in his mother when he was having a hard time. Rusty didn't have peers to talk to about his addiction. Now, after his death at the age of 18, teens with similar problems have a place to go and speak out, Rusty's House.
Rusty's House has been a big success for a lot of kids coming back because they're able to talk to each other and say, you know, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I feel like drinking too tonight. I mean, it's just, I don't feel like just sitting here.
Teens who attend the twice-weekly meetings have a chance to interact, to talk about what's bothering them with people who've been there and are possibly having similar feelings.
I always said that that's the only thing I feared growing up was to be like my dad. And I'm 19 years old, I'm exactly like my dad. It's scary.
Chris has been attending meetings at Rusty's house for months, trying to stay away from the cocaine and the pills that once ruled his life.
There's no way I would have been able to do this on my own. Like, if people wouldn't have put out their hand to me, I would still be using, and I would have no idea of the freedom and the serenity that I could have by being sober.
Some teens make their way to Rusty's house meetings by way of the court system. Others have parents who drag them in. Some come willingly, but no matter how they got there, most benefit in some way, if they choose to.
This is the place for you if you're ready to try and make a difference in your life. Rusty's House is started after one of my best friends, Rusty Marvin, died of a cocaine overdose, and I believe that his death in the end saved my life. Granted that I did not stop drugs right after his death. I even progressed farther after his death, but having this place here for me has saved my life. The people here and the kids that can relate really has saved my life and made me feel comfortable in a recovery environment with kids my own age that are going through something very similar to what I'm going through. There's no reason to feel awkward and strange when you walk in these rooms. There's people that are genuinely ready to reach out a hand and try and pull you out of that hole that you've been in for the last however long you've been using.
So even though hearts still ache in sadness for those who knew Rusty, his death has changed lives.
There's no doubt about it. Rusty's death saved my life. He died, he died for me, I mean, I believe in God's will, and if he wouldn't have died, I wouldn't be sober. His death has saved so many kids.